Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am. Yes, ready for the test? You can read for 5 minutes. Meanwhile, I'll write down the questions. Okay. Mehak, you were absent for a few days, right? Are you okay now? Okay. Have you prepared? Did you know about the test? No. Okay. So you may find the answers from the text itself. Okay. You can sit and read for 5 minutes. I'll write the questions on the board. After that, I'll share. Okay, ready? Elvina, Sana, Grishma, Ashish, please switch on your videos. Yeah, shall we start? Close your books. I'm going to share the screen. No need to write the question, just write the answer only. If you have any doubt, please ask.
Ma'am, finished.
Okay, just wait. When you finish, please let me know, okay?
Ma'am, it's completed.
Okay. Anybody else to complete?
Ma'am, the last question.
Okay. Those who have completed, you can either send it in the group, in our group, or send it to me personally. Anything is fine.
Ma'am, finished writing.
Okay. I'm stopping to share. Okay. For those who have not sent me, you can send after the class. Now come back. Okay. So we'll start with humanistic existential therapy now. Please write down the heading humanistic existential therapy. Human, write human first, istic, humanistic existential therapy. Under this, we'll learn 3 forms of therapies. They are first one, existential therapy. Then it will be client-centered therapy. Client-centered therapy. And the last one will be the common one, which we have already learned the theories about, that is Gestalt therapy. Okay. So what was the basis of humanistic existential theories that we learned earlier? In many chapters, we have dealt with this topic, right? Humanistic theories, humanistic perspective, existential theories or existential perspectives. So what was or what were the core concepts? At least a few terms that you remember. Yes?
Self-actualization,
Yeah, self-actualization. Then one major topic was self-actualization. Then what else?
different types of self, the ideal one and the real one,
Okay. Then
Unconditional positive regard.
unconditional positive regard. Okay. And who was the one giving unconditional positive regard? If we are discussing this in the form of therapy, then who gives to whom? Or
the
who
therapist to the client,
therapist to the client? Always remember that therapist considers the client as essentially good or essentially positive. That is unconditional positive regard. Okay. Now, so you have already learned about the theories of humanistic perspective and existential perspective. So, can you imagine why psychological distress is caused? Like, if we are thinking from humanistic perspective, why is a person having a psychological distress or psychological abnormality? In psychodynamic, we discussed about childhood traumas, the unconscious conflicts, intrapsychic conflicts, all those things. In behaviorism, in behavior therapy, we discussed that they have faulty learning methods, which we have to again modify. Again, in cognitive, it is because of the thoughts and belief patterns, the negative thoughts and belief patterns, core schemas, and all. Okay, so in existential or humanistic perspective, what would that be? Why would a person experience psychological distress?
When the person is not able to achieve the goals the person already set for himself or herself.
Yes. So, in terms of whatever we have learned, if the person is not able to satisfy the needs, like we have learned about the need hierarchy, right? And on top of it comes the self actualization. So, if a person is not able to achieve the full potential, if a person is not able to be the real self, if there is conflict between real self and the ideal self. Ideal self is a set of goals that we or set of standards that we keep for ourselves, isn't it? This is the ideal. But we are not able to reach that part. So because of all these things, that person might have psychological distress. And mainly we say if a person is not able to achieve self-actualization, if something is stopping the person from achieving self-actualization, then that causes psychological distress. Okay, that is how we explain. That is why we learn the theories first and then we are learning the therapies. So I told you in the beginning, all the therapies are based on some form of theory that we have already learned. Okay, so let's see. Today we'll be just learning about the introduction part, and from the next class onwards, we'll deal with existential, client-centered, and gestalt therapies in specific. Okay. So the first one, what happens is, this is the individual. Okay, consider this as the individual. Now this person has set many goals, and this person has so many needs also. In the need hierarchy there are so many needs, so this person needs to achieve all these levels, needs to go from one level of hierarchy to the next, and finally where will the person reach? Person has to reach what?
Self actualization.
Self actualization. So individual has the journey from here to here, imagine like that. Now the individual is also trying to find meaning in life, find purpose in life. Okay, as they are reaching self actualization, they are also trying to find meaning and purpose in life. Then only we explore our own potential, isn't it? If we think that we have this purpose, we work for it. So while working only, we realize our own potentials, our own talents, our own skills, etc. So that is how we reach our full potential, which is self actualization. Now, when this individual is in the journey from this point to self actualization, there are so many other factors coming in between. That is, it can be family, it can be friends, it can be the society. Okay, if any factor in this journey stops this person or blocks this person from getting into this stage, that is self actualization stage, then that causes psychological distress. Understood? Okay, so the individual is in the process of finding meaning and purpose in life, and also he or she is trying to find I mean full potential of himself or herself. That is, the person is trying to reach self actualization, but in the midway what happens, there are several other factors that stop them from achieving self actualization. So these any factors in the family, it might be because of their economical problems or because they don't have enough social support, they don't have a family that supports their skills and talents. Then many social norms, that is rules and regulations in the society, does not allow them to reach self actualization. If that happens, then the next problem is here psychological distress will occur. This is the major concept. Okay, this is how we conceptualize psychological problem in humanistic existential perspective or humanistic existential therapy. This is the basic assumption. If you want, take down. And we'll write the definition of self-actualization. We start writing. Self-actualization is defined as self-actualization is defined as an innate or inborn, an innate or inborn, an innate or inborn force, an innate or inborn force that moves the person, that moves the person, innate or inborn force that moves the person to become, that moves the person to become more complex, more complex, comma, balanced, more complex, comma, balanced, comma, and integrated, and integrated. Integrated means becoming the whole, becoming a combination of the all the talents, all the skills, and all the potentials. Okay, so where did we write? Become more complex, comma, balanced, comma, and integrated. That is, put a comma and write, that is achieving the complexity, achieving the complexity, achieving the complexity and balance, and balance without being, without being fragmented, without being fragmented. Okay, now, so this is how we conceptualize the psychological distress in the person. Okay, now we have to provide therapy for this, isn't it? So in behavior therapy and all, we knew that it is because of faulty learning. So we know the behavior techniques based on learning principles we have developed, not we, not us, so many others have developed behavioral techniques. So we apply that. We know these techniques and we apply that. So here, what do we do? What do we do with the clients? In cognitive therapy, we do cognitive restructuring. In behavior therapy, we apply behavioral techniques. In psychodynamic, we can use free association and dream analysis to analyze. And finally, confrontation, clarification, then transfer analysis, resistance, we can analyze all that. Interpretation, all those things can be done. So, what about humanistic existential? We have studied the therapist has to be empathetic, then the person should be non-judgmental, and also have unconditional positive regard. Okay, this is compulsory. Now, other than that, how would we solve the problem? We know what the problem is, how the causes have been developed, isn't it? We conceptualize the problem. This is how this person has got into psychological distress. We know it. So how will we solve it? Solve it. Think like this. You're hungry. Hmm? So you're not able to get food. You want your favorite food, you want to order it online, but your mom or dad is stopping you from ordering. Hmm? So that is causing you problems, psychological or physical, whatever. And what will you do to solve that problem? Or what can others do to solve that problem?
Ask someone else to buy and give.
Yeah, the ultimate thing is you have to order food, isn't it? You have to get the food. Yes or no? Yeah. Similarly, what is the problem here? How did we conceptualize the problem? What is the problem that the person is facing? I'll give you, yes, this one.
That his parents is stopping from buying food from online.
Okay, no. Here, I'm asking about this person. What is the issue here?
Family, friends, and society, all those restrictions are made on the person from achieving a particular goal.
Yes. And this person is not able to express himself or herself, isn't it? Hmm? Because of restrictions from family, friends, or society, or can be several other factors also. I just mentioned, I just gave 3 examples. Okay. So they are not able to express themselves completely. So usually while dealing with this therapy, we discuss about emotional expression. Okay. So the person's emotional expression is reaching only this point. Okay, about this emotional expression is not able to get after or get through this point. It's not able to go beyond that point because it is restricted there. So in therapy, what would we do? If the person is not able to express themselves properly, emotional expression is not possible in real life. So that person has come for therapy. What would we do? As therapists, what can we do?
We should allow the person to express himself
We
or
should
herself.
allow the person to express. Exactly same as the example we talked about. If the person who's not getting the food is coming to us, what will we do? If we are therapists, obviously we'll find means to get the food ordered or delivered, isn't it? That is the only solution to make this person relieved. So here we will create an atmosphere where the client feels comfortable to open up, where the client feels confident to express himself or herself. And remember, in the introduction part, I told that humanistic existential therapies they are non-directive in nature, which means the therapist has only the role of a dash. What was it?
Facilitator,
Yes, correct. The therapist has the role of a facilitator only. So, who is responsible for the successful therapy? The therapist or the client? Who has the main role?
the client itself.
The client itself has the main role. Unlike other therapies, here the client is the one who is doing most of the work. Okay, the therapist is just a facilitator. I told you that day also. He or she is like an enzyme, just to facilitate the process. We just have to create an atmosphere of unconditional positive regard and be empathetic to that person or the client, and be non-judgmental. That is expected from the therapist in humanistic existential therapy. And then the client feels comfortable. After that, the client starts expressing his or her feelings, emotions, goals, fears, everything. Okay. And through these non-directive methods, we channelize them. If they're going out of track, we can channelize them. That is okay. And they create self-awareness. It helps them to create self-awareness. They can find out their own hidden potentials. They can understand themselves more. They can solve problems on their own. They can start to make decisions on their own, and they understand. They finally, after the therapy, after the successful completion of these sessions, the clients come to know how important it was to understand themselves, and how important it was to find meaning in their life, to change those philosophies towards life. That is the basic concept of humanistic existential therapy. And again, you have to think from a philosophical perspective to actually understand the essence of humanistic existential. It's not mechanic like behavior therapies and all. Behavior therapy, it's very easy. Stimulus, then response, all these things are there. It's very easy compared to very easy to understand the sense. To understand the concept, it's very easy because the learning principles are directly applied. The examples were also very easy to understand, right? Last day we discussed about the behavior techniques, and the examples are very easy to understand. But humanistic, we have to think from a very philosophical perspective, because the theories are also taken from philosophies. Okay, now take page number 100. Amal, can you read second paragraph? Right side, second paragraph. Healing occurs when
and
Mm.
healing occurs when the client is able to perceive the obstacle to self-actualization in her or his life and is able to remove them.
Mm.
Self-actualization requires free emotional expression.
Mm.
The family and society corrupt emotional expression, as it is feared that a free expression of emotion can harm society by unleashing destructive
Destructive
forces.
forces. Mm.
This leads to destructive behavior and negative emotions by thwa-
Mm.
uh, thwarting uh, the process of emotional integration.
Mm.
Therefore, the therapy creates permissive, non-judgmental, and accepting atmosphere in which the client emotions can be freely expressed, and the complexity, balance, and integration could
Mm.
be achieved.
Mm.
The fundamental assumption is that the client has the freedom and responsibility to control his own behavior.
Underline that sentence. The primary assumption, the main assumption. And before you complete reading, curb and thwarting. All those means preventing or restraint. Okay, resisting something. That is it. Okay, then continue, Amal. You missed the line. Aishwarya, continue.
The therapist is merely a facilitator and guide. It is the client who
Underline that
is
also. Underline that also. Therapist is just a facilitator. Always remember this. In humanistic form of therapy, the therapist is always a facilitator. He or she doesn't have the main role. Okay, continue.
it is the client who is responsible for the success of therapy. The
Mm.
chief aim of the therapy is to expand the client's awareness.
Mm.
Healing takes place by a process of understanding the unique personal experience of the client by herself or himself. The
Mm.
client initiates the process of self growth through which healing takes place.
Mm. Okay. So the main keywords you can hear: self-awareness, creating self-awareness, then fully expressing the emotions and feelings, then self-consciousness, understanding the self, then reaching the full potential, reaching self-actualization. These are the main aims or goals. Okay. That is about the introduction to humanistic existential therapy. Okay, we'll learn the rest of it in the next coming classes. So when you come for the next class, study the addictive disorders also. We have just one portion to complete and that chapter is over. Okay? Fine then, thank you.